A lot of service members and veterans are going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of their lifetime. It's Taco Tuesday, by the way, and it's also Cinco de Mayo, which more people in America celebrate it than people in Mexico. Anyway, I loved my time while I was in, but like most service members, when you first go in, like, you spend your money on stupid shit. You buy new clothes, you buy new cars, you go out to the bars and the clubs all the time, and you don't think about that because, I mean, I get it. You're young, right? We were all young once, and we want to spend money, and we were free, and we want to do whatever we want to do. We don't think about retirement. We don't think about getting older. We don't think about all that stuff because it's just not in our foreseeable future. So it's not really something that we can tangibly put our hands on. So out of sight, out of mind. And in 2026, like, you have to be financially literate. You cannot afford to be financially illiterate. And you don't have to go out and study every single thing. You don't need to be the next, Warren Buffett, but you do need to educate yourself a little bit. Yeah, you have things like the TSP, but here's what I would do if I were to start over. The first thing that I would do is I would start a high yield savings account. Why a high yield savings account? Because the return that you get is higher than a regular savings account. So if you put your money into a regular savings account, you're going to get like 0.1, maybe 1% per year on your returns on the interest. So basically, you're getting nothing. A high yield savings account can go anywhere from like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5%, which is pretty rare, but it's usually around 3 to 4%. Now, if you think about it, put $10,000 into a regular savings account, you're going to get $30 a year, maybe, on interest, if that, right? If you put $10,000 into a high yield savings account, you're going to get $400 of free money, basically just for having your money into the high yield savings account. Now, you might be thinking like, well, what's the difference? Like, why wouldn't more people do the high yield savings account? Well, there is one downside that I can think of, and that's basically like if you put your money in a high yield savings account, you're not going to have access to it like immediately. So like if something happens, it might take like a day or two to transfer from there over to your main checking account, just because that, there's not a lot of physical locations. Banks are making money off of the savings account, even though they're not paying you much. And they're lending it out with like mortgage rates and interest rates and loans and cars and all that stuff. So they're making money off of the money that you have in the bank, but they're not paying you anything at all. And this is the high yield savings account that I use. You can use it. You can find the link up in my bio. The second thing that I would do is I would start to invest in some sort of ETF or an exchange traded fund or an index fund. It's basically a fancy way of saying that you can buy part of all the companies, let's say the S&P 500, you can own a small part of all the 500 companies in the S&P 500 without taking on as much risk. So for example, if you bought a stock in Netflix, if Netflix crashes, you lose pretty much all that money or whatever the devalued stock price is. With an ETF or an index fund, if one stock crashes, then you're not going to feel the effects as bad because all the other ones are going to float it or carry it over. The earlier that you get started, the better, because compound, like Einstein says, is one of the greatest wonders of the world. Even if it's $50 or $100 a month, over decades, that compounds a lot. So again, head on up to the link in my bio. You can start investing for as little as $50 and open up your high yield savings account today.